And good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the We Believe Digital Studios, broadcasting to you live from downtown Jackson, Mississippi. Some people say the belly of the beast. It is the apex of oppression and disregard for people. Just because if you live in Mississippi and you're poor, you're in a rough spot. If you live in Mississippi and you're poor and you're black, oh my gosh. And these state legislators are coming down hard on the capital city of Jackson right now. So we've got a show for you today. 76 degrees out here, maybe some showers coming this afternoon. But welcome to the We Believe Digital News Break. My name is Chris Young, and I'm especially honored to have the Honorable David L. Archie, District 2 Supervisor, Hinds County Board of Supervisors, with me today. How are you doing, Mr. Archie?
Very well, Chris. Thank you for having me this afternoon.
Well, we're glad to have you. You know, we try and create an opportunity where at least every other show or something we get an elected official to come on. And, you know, one time, not too long ago, we heard a report over there from that state capitol. See, I know everybody in the Board of Supervisors has smaller numbers, chance for a better voice, but we had some people over there talking about they don't even get a voice on issues, you know, and so that's one of the kind of a sub-goal of this program is to make sure people get a voice. So would you like to just, you know, spend a few minutes? I know I saw the list. I got the list. I made you an extra copy, by the way. The people running for office, I know you're on that list, running for re-election.
Absolutely.
And if you've got to take a few minutes and just go ahead and share with the people, you know, what you're all about, what you're trying to accomplish, and so forth. And here you are, getting ready to raise your right hand and take an oath and for re-election.
Absolutely. First of all, once again, I just want to thank you for having me, and of course for the audience. I think there's a lot of stuff that they need to know. As a member of the Hinds County Board of Supervisors, we bring you greetings this morning, this afternoon. I live in a very complex district. Mm-hmm. My district is made of Democrats, Republicans, black, white, rich, and poor. Mm. I have a lot of rural as well as the capital city. I have the Clinton Municipality, Bolton, and Epwoods now. I used to have Utica. And there are a small area down in Raymond, Mississippi that I represent. Mm-hmm. The only African-American United States congressman from the state of Mississippi, he went to Congress from my seat. And I think that you have to be a voice. I think you have to speak up and speak out, challenge the status quo, go against the grain when need to be, and to make absolutely sure that tax dollars are getting back into every community that you represent. In no way I'm trying to be biased or represent any area more than the other. I try to be fair, and that's what it's all about with me when I wake up in the morning, go and do the people's work. That is what they elected me for. Sometime I'm a bit unorthodox in the way that I do things. I make up a little noise in order to get a little attention to the issues that I'm about.
So you say, really, when you say you're running for election, you're talking about bringing fairness, you're talking about bringing equality, and you're talking about being a steward, a real steward of these funds, all these monies that come, you know, through the county and all, and you have a particular eye on making sure that that is spent fairly and equitably utilized.
Not just a steward, but a good steward.
A good steward, yes, sir.
Yeah, I think there's some things that are needed in our community that I think all elected officials that represent Hinds County and the city of Jackson need to understand. When you're providing good government, the number one thing that it starts with is infrastructure, where you can move about, get to one place to another without tearing up your vehicles.
Right.
Then you want to deal with the crime issue around the whole entire county, regardless of what municipality that crime is up or down. You want to keep peaceful in every community.
Right.
The next thing is bringing economic development as well as jobs
Yes, sir.
to this community where people can stay and work here in Hinds County. And so I have a big interest in moving the bar towards those things. I think we've been lacked in many years. I've only been in office for 3 years in a month or so. I think I've done more in this 3 years and a month than my predecessor did in 7 years. I can count the number of projects that I've taken on and money that I've brought to Hinds County. When I came into my seat, my predecessor voted to take all the money from the district that he represents. And now he decided that he want to come in and run as an independent and not a Democrat anymore. And so I don't think the Democratic Party want him or the Republican Party. It's my understanding that my opponent, which is going to be in November, the real opponent.
Right.
His wife ran against a Republican in Clinton, and he ran against a Republican in Clinton for city council or board of alderman seat. And I don't think neither side want him. I think he needs to just go and do what he's doing, being a contractor and being a preacher.
Yeah.
I don't think he need to put politics in the midst of that.
Let me ask you something, too, because you bring up economic development, which is something that I think about every day. It sickens my heart, and I have to confess to you, I heard you on an earlier program this morning, but just to is Continental Tire, is that inside of your district?
In my district, in Hinds
You know,
County
I saw a
District,
report on that the other day, and I'm just talking, not a reflection on you, but you know, when these companies come in here, and God knows we're glad to have them, and they bring dollars, they support events, they do different things. But I was reading somebody's, I don't have it in front of me this second, somebody's article where when they came, they said they were bringing 2,500 jobs. And do you know, in the report, it said it's less than 800.
Right. And so we had that conversation early on when I came into office.
I'm sorry, that made me think of this. You know, they couldn't have a special session of the legislature for the water crisis here in Jackson, but they had a special session of legislature to give $287 million to Steel Dynamics, who say they're going to bring 1,000 jobs up into the Golden Triangle.
Absolutely.
And whenever I hear this stuff, Supervisor, I don't know why they say that stuff, because it doesn't pan out to be true.
Well, so, and I can share with the public that they're not at fault in all of it.
Okay.
What happened was when they originally came in and they was getting ready to get up and running, you know, the pandemic hit.
Yeah.
And so that slowed the process down quite a bit.
So you think as we get further away from that it
I
will
think we're going to
increase?
get to those numbers. We have had those conversations.
Good thought, yeah.
One time they were shut completely down, and now they are open and up and running. Now they got to find the qualified people that can perhaps do those jobs that is out there at Continental Tire Plant. And one of the things that I have addressed to the CEO of the company is that I want to hire folks from Hinds County. I want people from Hinds County to have the majority of those jobs. They deserve it. It is because the people from Hinds County is the one that have given the tax incentive,
Right.
And the tax abatement in order to be here.
Yes.
And so I think they deserve it, and we need those jobs. And so I've been on them pretty tough about that.
Good. Well, I appreciate you doing that. We need to stay on it because, you know, it's how much do they really, you know, in comparison. Like I don't know the analytics with Continental Tire, but I know I looked up with that Steel Dynamics well out of our region, but you know they're still getting tax abatements and stuff. This is a multi-million-dollar corporation, and we're turning around and giving them $287 million in monies. To me, it's just bizarre.
Well, it shows good cause and good faith. And sometimes these big companies that come into your area, they have other locations that they have looked at.
Yeah.
And they're looking for the better deal as well.
Yeah.
And so we have to be competitive with other states and other counties and communities that where perhaps that they're looking to go.
Right.
And we have to consider the offer that they put on the table to see whether or not they're willing to come here based upon the deal that we work out. You know, it's willing and dealing.
It is. And, you know, just following up on that a little bit, And I've been trying to get in touch with Willie Jones. It's not an easy task, but if I'm not mistaken, she's on the Hinds County Economic Development Authority board, so forth. And because it makes me wonder. So, do they have people that are on that team? I'm guessing that you know this, having been involved so deeply for years now. Do they have people that are actually out there talking to prospective businesses that are outside about bringing business to Hinds County? Do we have people that are, kind of cheerleaders for the county that are out there promoting us, letting people know about our county?
That's supposed to be the case. Hinds County Economic Development Board is made of at least 10 people from the Hinds County Board of Supervisors. We each have 2 appointments to that board.
Okay.
And on that appointment, we supposed to stress to our appointees that, listen, we need you to work for the people of Hinds County and becoming a driving force to get people to relocate here and to do business here in Hinds County, regardless of what municipality that you choose. It's in Hinds County.
Right.
And that is the idea of it. Now,
right.
We have a lot of land here on I-220, down 49 north, 55 south, I-20 going west, that we can perhaps develop. Of course, Continental Tire Plant came to District 2 on I-20 west. But at the end of the day, they have to be committed and not just sitting there on the board. We just appointed a female to the board on this past Monday. I can't recall her name. She came out of District 4, but I addressed the same issue that we're speaking of right now, that we want people on that board to be a cheerleader for Hinds County. We want people on that board to make absolutely sure that when we look at a project, when we look at bringing someone to Hinds County, that they don't end up in Madison or Rankin County, and using our data in order to make that happen. And so we're committed to the test, and we'll get right to the issue of making that happen.
Use
Hinds
our
County
numbers.
is a very special place.
Use our numbers to puff up their proposal to land somewhere else.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And I not to dig too deep in this, but of course, I've been affiliated with Mr. Garrett and volunteered really for him for a good long while now. And, obviously when you're that close to an African-American businessman, you learn. Earlier today, you were on a different program, and you were speaking about this very, very large expenditure that had to do with $260,000, and I know there was some issues come up with the, maybe that wasn't briefed enough ahead of time, et cetera, et cetera. But I wanted to focus in on this one point. I looked up this company, this Parkway Signage and Landscape Projects to Ambiance Landscaping. Now, they're in Brandon, and there's a photo of all the peoples, in their company. And I guess it was the low bid, and it say here it was underneath the estimated budget, what have you, but it just makes it. I would just like to learn more about. If I ask you, do you think there's any way in a million years that there's not a black landscaping reclamation company in Hinds County that could end up doing that work, but somehow they don't get the bid, and a white company from Brandon gets it?
And so,
do you see what I'm getting at?
And so that is one of the things that I've been accused of for being so hard on the board. And the reason that I make up so much noise is because things that have been done in the last 20 years on that board, of course, have not always been right. And they continue to think that we ought to sit there and go along to get along, even when things are not right. Regardless of where you sit, whether you're in the majority of the board or the minority of the board, it's still the people money.
Well, but let me ask you something, and I'm not probably don't know a fraction of what you do about how the law reads, but isn't there some type of thing where a preference can be applied to an African or minority?
We don't have to accept any bid. We don't have to accept a bid. It can be the lowest bid, but if it's not the best bid, we don't have to accept it.
So lowest and best is the standard.
Is the standard. But the thing and the problem that I really have with the whole issue is that the public work director was not transparent in this particular case.
Yeah.
And he showed up at the board meeting with saying, okay, these folks won the bid, let's move forward, let's vote on it. Supervisor Graham had not seen anything, I had not seen anything, and then we began to question those matters that is on the Hinds County Parkway. I just think that those dollars can be used to do a whole lot of other things. They claim that the dollars can't be used, but you can always reallocate money.
Reallocate it, yeah. Thank you for that. Well, we're up at the break, so we're just going to dip out for a couple of commercials, and we'll be right back with you. We Believe Digital News Break.
Are you dreaming of becoming an entrepreneur, but you're not sure where or how to start? At Entrepreneurs Academy 101, our online program will guide you step by step on how to start and grow your own business. We offer courses such as how to write a business plan, how to create a budget, and so much more. Our online training program is designed for you to learn at your own pace, and there's no set order to complete this program. Because our academy is online, you have the choice to learn with a group, with friends, or individually. Upon completion of the entire curriculum, you will receive a certificate of achievement to acknowledge that you have completed the training needed to become a successful entrepreneur. So enroll today to design the life that you love. Contact your entrepreneur coach, Brenda Myers, at 601-672-0695 or visit our website at www.entrepreneursacademy101.com for more information.
And welcome back to We Believe Digital News Break. We're happy to have the Honorable David L. Archie, Hinds County Board of Supervisors, District 2, here with us today, providing us all kinds of information about his priorities of fairness and equity and really riding herd over the dollars that are spent, the dollars that come through Hinds County. It's an enormous amount of money. We have so many challenges here, and he's letting us know that he's out there hitting the bricks, making sure that the needs of the county get tended to, and he's also shared with us some details about the economic development. And, we just need we are a black county. We need black economic engines to be here in our county, and we're just so starved for that. And it's a sad state of affairs, but it didn't happen overnight. Now, like Mr. Archie said, it's been going on for some time now. But in maybe trying to transition a little bit towards these other issues going on, but I did want to ask you, you said 3.5 years now down there on the job, something like that?
I've been there for 3 years. This February, make it 3 years in a month.
3 years in a month. So let me ask you this. Overall, and God knows anybody that pays attention to the Board of Supervisors, there's been a lot going on. There's been all kinds of stuff going on and different dynamics and stuff like that. But I'm just curious, your overall perspective as an elected official, watching things, do you see Hinds County beginning to move in a more positive direction than when you first showed up on the scene 3 years ago?
Well, yes.
Great. I'd love to hear that.
Yeah, the answer is yes to that. But we can be more progressive and proactive in getting things done.
Right.
Now, do I agree or disagree with some of the board members? Yes.
Sure.
I think that one particular board member that is there that shouldn't be there. He's been in this business for 42 years. And he ought to have a list of things that he have done in those 42 years, and he just can't provide that list. And that's the District 3 Supervisor, Credia Calhoun, who, because he's been there for so long, he act as a dictator. And so I think the moment that you get rid of those kind of people, where the other board members can work together, because his mindset is that the only thing that he needs is 3 votes to do whatever it is that he wants to do, whether it's right or wrong. And when he first came to the board, of course, he was a part of my team. And because I would not go along and get along with some of the stuff and the mess that he was doing, he decided to bungee jump ships and move to the other side. Well, they welcomed him to the other side because they was in a minority. But
sure.
they made a major mistake. When one of those supervisors should have said, listen, when you came in, you wasn't with us, and now you're not with the other side. Mm-hmm. So who's the problem? Are we the problem or the other two, Supervisor Graham and Archie, are they the problem? They should have made him say, look, okay, you come in, you sit down, you'll be a part of this team,
right.
but we're going to run this side,
right.
not you. And had they done that, the District 5 supervisor perhaps would not have 10 people in his race, and the District 4 supervisor probably wouldn't have had 8 or 9 folks in the District 4 race.
Yeah, I saw
and,
that.
And the reason that they got these people in their race is because they did not step up to the plate, challenge Creedale Calhoun, and okay. One of those guys could have been the swing vote to be the leader in the county and saying that we're going to do what's right. And because they didn't do that, you see the results of it.
We have, and we've got some people joining the chat. Supervisor Archie, we got several people joining the chat. They talking about an enormous amount of money. Where's it going exactly? It's all about the results. Different comments coming up in the chat, and I'm just going to read to the viewers very briefly. Now, this is just from David Archie alone right now, and this is part of the agenda of the last board meeting from 2 days ago that I'm reading from. He's got things identified on Buckreed Road and Edwards, LaRanch Road, bad potholes, Sardis Drive, West Thompson Lane, Percy Davis Road needs repairs, John Davis Drive in Bolton, repairs needed, Quinn Road, Hanger Road. He's got these things all out there and puts them in the agenda that he's trying to get attention brought to and resources brought to. So one of the things was, an example of where exactly money is going. Can you, honest to God, I'm not trying to pull you on the spot, but is there something you can think of maybe in the last 6 months or something where there was a pretty hefty expenditure, but it was well spent and you're satisfied with the results of it? Anything come to mind?
I am not. I'm not satisfied with about $20-some million of American Rescue money in the way that it was spent.
Nothing you can think of that you're satisfied with the expenditures? Well,
I am satisfied with that. We put $10 million of that money to repair roads here in Hinds County. So I'm satisfied with that part.
And that's moving along?
It's moving along. We're getting things done. I've just recently paved about 15 to 20 roads all over this county, in Hinds County District 2.
15 to 20.
15 to 20 roads in Hinds County District 2, and the people are satisfied.
There you go. There you go, Mr. Williams. You heard it straight from the source.
Absolutely, and I could give you the name of some of those roads. If you just go up 49 North and look at Cynthia Road, you can see that road was paved. You can go in Jackson on Mays Street. We paved half of over by the cattle truck company. The big company. They ride that road a lot. So and that road was in bad shape. Albemarle Road in Jackson, over off of Ridgeway.
Right.
There's a couple of roads down Northside Drive. I can't think of the name of those particular roads. Over in the Fondren, we've paid 2 or 3 roads over in the Fondren. We've gotten $20 million for a parking garage over in the Fondren district.
Yeah.
We've got given this new, not apartment, but high-dollar condos that are going to be in the old McRae's corner at State Street in Meadowbrook, where they're going to put about $75 million in there. And
where the Piggly Wiggly is?
Right across from the Piggly Wiggly.
Okay.
It used to be the old McRae Shopping Center.
Okay.
And that's going to be a fine outfit. Of course, that is in District 2. We got $500,000 for the flooding in the Fondren. I can't think of the creek, but it's been flooding from years from State Street.
Oh, that White Oak?
No, not White Oak. White Oak is further in North Jackson.
That did finally get through, right?
That got through.
Yeah.
But
and I know you were a proponent of that.
Absolutely. Yeah. We got another $500,000 from the state to do from State Street all the way back to not quite to Lakeland, but perhaps to Old Canton Road.
Okay.
That creek that runs down. I can't think of the name of it.
It's all right.
We was able to get that done, and then the Presidential Hill's flooding. There's no supervisor or mayor or city council person in the history of this county or this city was able to get as much money I've been able to get for the Presidential Hill flooding. I've been able to get $4,750,000 to correct the flooding in Presidential Hill.
Wow.
It's unheard of. And so those are the things that I've been doing. When I came into office, I couldn't talk about $3 and $4 and $5 and $10 million if it came back to the district. Mm-hmm. If you go 49 north from I-220, Transportation Commissioner Willie Simmons paved that road going north and coming back south on both sides of the highway for the citizens of District 2. Mm-hmm. And it was about $7 million spent there. And so we're working hard to make these things happen. Just recently, I went to the town of Bolton, where Congressman Thompson lives, and I went to the town of Edwards to report to them that we was able, Congressman Thompson and I worked hard together to get the town of Bolton $468,000 for beautification. We got that money in the account and ready to give it to the town of Bolton.
Yeah.
We was able to get $492,000 to the town of Edwards for beautification. And matter of fact, I brought it here for you.
Good
so
stuff.
You can be able to see it. Yeah. And down in the town of Utica that I once represent, now is in District 5. Mm-hmm. But it used to be in District 2, mm-hmm. and I advocated to get $500,000 for them, $505,000. We got that money in Hinds County account, and those Board of Aldermen and mayors are going to be so glad to get that money to help beautify their team. But that is the work that I've done as your Hinds County District 2 supervisor.
We got a question coming in. We appreciate everybody joining the chat and questions for Supervisor David Archie. Somebody is asking why, and here it's funny, this question, because I was getting ready to compliment you guys on the availability of the agendas and the minutes of the different meetings and all, as compared to you guys do so much better than the council does with getting that stuff out there. But here we got a question. The meeting is not being shown live on Facebook anymore. I think
you have to go to the Hinds County Board of Supervisors website now.
Go to the website.
Go to Hinds County Board of Supervisors website, and you'll be able to pull it up.
Okay, you got that, Mr. Williams? He said go right to the Board of Supervisors website, scroll down to where they got the, give you a click for either minutes, agenda, whatever.
Board meeting.
The board meetings, and you can be able to click right on it there. Thank you for writing that in.
And tune in and get some other folks to tune in. It's a lot going on in this county.
Much.
This is the capital city and capital county, right? And what I don't want the people to forget is that there are challenges out there. We live in a Republican state where we have to work with the Republicans in order to get what you need here for the capital city as well as the capital county. Mm-hmm. Now, the Republican state is saying that we have some leaders that just don't want to work with them for some reason. I don't know what the facts are in terms of that, but I've been able to reach across the aisle. And I'm being considered a radical. I'm a radical that can reach across the aisle. Well, Martin Luther King was a radical.
Yeah.
And he was able to reach across the aisle, right? And he was able to get things done. Medgar Evers was a radical.
Yeah.
Right? He was able to reach across the aisle and able to demand and get things done. So regardless of what goals are, what are the results of the goals?
That's right.
They talk about many times, well, Archie is raising all of this sand and raising all of this hell. Well, that's the only way that things are going to get changed based upon the form of government that we have here as well as the state government. I just told you. The state is Republican. They have the votes to do whatever they want to do, just like Bill 1020. that Hinds County is not, we just passed a resolution saying no to that bill,
Right.
that we don't want that bill, we didn't agree with that bill, and I don't think no delegation from Hinds County, whether it's the municipality, Hinds County Board of Supervisors, or those state delegates that represent Hinds County agreed to that bill. And so why bring a bill into the county and the people that you represent and nobody agrees to it? So you got to have a conversation. You got to sit down and talk and work those things out. And the thing that I've continued to hear that it is because of the leadership, and that is why the Republicans is doing this to us. Well, I'm going to say to the Republicans, don't continue to do that to us. Represent the people. Just because you have a problem with one or two or three elected officials, don't go after all the folks here in the city as well as the folks here in Hinds County.
That's very pragmatic. I mean, I love hearing you say that. Somebody saying good evening to Timothy Brown saying good evening to you, David.
Good evening. Good evening to you. Thank you for tuning in.
But yeah, we've got we're really rapidly running out of time. But as Supervisor Archie's saying, you know, these bills going on, it's kind of like a full court press. And I very much appreciate what you're saying about, well, call me radical if you will, because the people that came before me, that's what they did. And you're willing to try to speak to people, get people at the table, get a discourse started. And sometimes when I ask myself, why are they doing this without any consultation? It's like even, technically Blunt, who's got some challengers coming up this year, is my senator, and he's pointed out, here you people are coming from other parts of the state, attempting this, what he called an unconstitutional takeover, usurping people's power and voting rights. You don't even come from here. But the people don't even talk to the local elected officials before they do that.
I haven't been spoken to about it. Well,
So,
I
Mr.
have,
Archie.
but in a way that it's just simply saying that, look, until y'all get rid of your leadership, we're not going to do anything for you. Now, that is the
That's
conversation that I've had.
That's just
and I think you put in us, the people that represent this county and this city, in a bad situation because you look like that you're nitpicking and taking it out
Well, you're
on
making
the
them
majority
invisible.
of the people.
You're making the people invisible when you do that.
I love the people of Hinds County. I've always been on the front line fighting and challenging
Yeah.
the status quo. I think, once again, I represent the most complex district in this whole entire state. Mm-hmm. And the people said yes to me. I'm working with Republicans. I'm working with Democrats. I'm working with folks that communities that never had any attentions in terms of their tax dollars. Now dollars are running and getting into their community to fix stuff. Mm-hmm. And that is what we're supposed to do as supervisors.
Just one last comment I wanted to share with you. Mr. Williams saying exactly, David Archie, I agree with you on that. Don't group all of us citizens of Jackson and Hinds County together like that. That's what he's
Absolutely.
saying.
Absolutely.
So,
and you know what? Perhaps, just perhaps, when it get to the Senate would say no.
Wow.
So there's a couple things that need to happen.
Wow.
And you got to follow the process. The process must go on.
Yeah.
It may be a wake-up call, right?
Yeah, process.
It could very well be that the Senate may say no. And it could very well get to the governor, and he can veto the bill. So there are still steps that need to be taken.
Yeah.
And so what we need to do is crowd and talk and speak. And I would be one of those that voice my opinion to the Senate and voice my opinion to the governor in terms of saying no until we're able to work the details out to move all of us forward together so we can have a safe city and we can have a safe state.
and a quality of life where people are valued and appreciated.
As well as a safe county.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for tuning in to We Believe Digital News Break today. You know we come to you 2 times a week, Wednesdays and Fridays at 12 noon. Sometimes we are fortunate enough to have a guest like Supervisor Archie came in today. I'm looking forward. I think a week from Friday, Representative Bo Brown will be here. Trying to get some people that are well familiar with the issues that are going on in this area and come and speak on the program. So thank you very much for tuning in. We're skipping out for today. Be sure to take good care of yourselves out there and stay safe.